Being a millionaire is not hard. It simply requires certain habits to achieve, and then making sure that we follow these habits for a long enough period of time, and of course that we're being focused into the right things. But so from here, I want to go ahead and give you 5 habits of millionaires, 5 millionaire habits that you can go ahead and begin incorporating into your life and start enjoying the dramatic differences and changes and results that you'll begin to experience. The first habit is simply learning to say no. You may have seen the movie with Jim Carrey, the one of Yes Man, right, where he's saying yes to absolutely everything. And you notice how great it can be for a period of time. And then from having said yes to so many things over enough time that it starts to actually detract from his quality of life. And so yes is great, but learning how to say no is important so that you are actually doing the things that you need to be doing, especially if the goal is to become a millionaire. Number 2, going into planting seeds. A millionaire is basically a farmer. Maybe you're a millionaire through farming, but ultimately a millionaire is planting seeds in business and in life with people and in ideas all the time. Because eventually some of those plants will then come to harvest and have a hopefully large yield. So plant seeds. Number 3, making mistakes. It's not all about winning, although winning should be the priority, but there is no such thing as losing because millionaires habituate learning, right? That is the third habit here, learning. Number 4, a millionaire's habit of 1% a day. They're not someone that's going to get so pissed off at themselves for not having done more. Although maybe they're a high achiever, they're ultimately going to be focusing on improving at least 1% every single day. Because a millionaire understands that this is a habit and the success comes from doing it over time. So 1% per day, every day for a year is not 365% better. It's much, much more than that. And lastly, the 5th habit of a millionaire is to follow up. Being a millionaire is going to require sales. It's going to require putting yourself in front of as many people as possible, but just because you put yourself in front of them doesn't mean that they're going to immediately remember you. It requires the follow-up because the fortunes are in the follow-up. And these are the 5 habits of millionaires, right? Number 1, saying no. Number 2, planting the seeds. Number 3, making mistakes. Number 4, being 1% better every single day. And number 5, following up with your sales, following up with your customers. So let's dig in more to these habits in today's Gen Ed class. Welcome and welcome back. Saying no. It's funny because the idea of saying no can be really difficult for a lot of people. I remember for myself growing up, and this might have been for you, or if you have any siblings, you may have noticed the same things, and your parents may have made these types of comments. But I remember growing up, and for example, my sister, she at home would act a certain way, but then of course when she was over at a friend's house, if let's say the friend's mother, father wanted something done or help with XYZ chore and they were asking their child, and then with that might end up asking my sister, she was very easy and quick to say yes, 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 even though did she want to be doing chores or cleaning or helping around their house instead of playing with her friend? No, absolutely not. But the thing is that she felt this need to say yes and that she couldn't say no. But of course, when she was home, there was no problem saying no, right? Oh, mom, no, I don't want to do that. No, absolutely not, right? And same thing with myself. I'm not going to sit here like I didn't. But then, of course, over the course of time, it's important that we come to recognize that at home is important that we recognize it internally, but are we not recognizing this externally? And what I mean within that is, are we following what other people want us to do and saying yes more often, and because of that hampering our possibilities, our time to focus on and get done what we need to get done? This is the importance of this first habit, learning to say no. Because especially if you're, let's say, launching a business, Okay, you're going to have to learn to say no to parties, to going out, maybe say no to chilling on the weekends for a little bit, right? No to some trips, no to certain types of fun things that you might have had planned, whatever the case scenario. Same thing if you have a job. You know, I remember when I was working a job and I had gotten promoted to become the branch manager, and from there I was opening up my own office. I had to have a lot of conversations beforehand saying no before they could even bring up the question, because I already kind of knew what was going to come up in front, right? But so a millionaire is going to do these things, look ahead in the future and start saying no to the things they won't be able to commit to. Number one, say no. Number two, plant the seeds. Planting the seeds in your life and in your business. We are farmers at the end of the day. I mean, seriously, literally, if you go ahead and take this back in time, before we were farmers, we were hunter-gatherers, right? And then from there, we learned that, oh, wait, these types of trees keep growing in this area, and like these things fall out of the trees, and it seems like they just kind of disappear, but where they fell, something grew. So like, maybe if we like grab these things and like put them in places, like maybe they grow and maybe we have more food, right? And then farming was discovered. And so farming is what has gotten us to this point now, because farming is the act of planting seeds and then helping it grow. And then over the course of time, it yields something. And then that reward that it yielded for us, we get to have, right? That's our payoff or our payout. And so now we're not literally farming. You may not literally be farming. You may be a knowledge worker. And in the modern age, we still plant seeds. We plant seeds with our employees and our management team and with clients in sales, in our marketing, when we're prospecting. Whatever the case scenario may be, we must plant as many seeds as possible. So you want to plant as many seeds as absolutely possible, because this is where everything gets to grow from. You know, I want to put this into the term of a video game. Look at Minecraft, you look at Stardew Valley, you look at a lot of these different types of games, or tycoon-based games or strategy-based games, and they lead to the same type of gameplay, which is you doing the work, the farming, right? If you played an MMORPG or a massive multi-online role-playing game, they literally, in lingo, gamer terms, is known as farming, right? Going out there, doing quests, killing monsters, getting more gold or whatever the currency is, right? That's literally farming. It doesn't change. And so with that, farming requires the planting of seeds. So put more seeds out there and notice how many more crops start to come back. That's where the wealth comes from. You know, they didn't make it overnight. They literally planted a ton of seeds, and over the course of time, they grew, and then they harvested. Go figure. Farm. So number 3, the third habit of being a millionaire, the third millionaire habit, is to make mistakes. Now, whether you like it or not, you're going to have to make mistakes. So maybe the habit is not to make mistakes, but simply to learn from these mistakes. There's more than enough people in the world that make mistakes all of the time. In fact, a lot of people will continue to make the same mistake time and time and time again. And either one, they don't do the due diligence to find out that this is actually a mistake and that it should be fixed, or 2, no one points out the fact that they're actually doing it wrong and they have no idea. I know that's been me before, likely that's been you before. But ultimately, we must be willing to learn, and so we must learn from every mistake we make, and we must not be scared of making these mistakes, especially if you're an entrepreneur, you're running your own business, or you lead a team and you are the leader of a company or a management section or department. Like, you're going to have to accept the fact that you will make mistakes and focus on the habit of learning from every single one of them. Because a mistake is only a mistake, but it doesn't have to be more than that should we choose to learn from it. Because then that mistake can just snowball into failure. And I'm sure none of us want failure. But what's funny is a lot of people, perhaps yourself, you're scared of failing. You're scared of failure, but it doesn't matter, because in the journey to success will be mistakes. But failure only happens the moment that you decide you have failed. And it will definitely happen if you let enough mistakes keep just compounding and compounding and compounding until the weight is too much to bear, because you didn't decide to learn from all the weight that kept building up. You got to. and you have to be willing to. There's no such thing as losing, and you may not win all the time, but make sure you play as many games so that you get to learn as much as possible from all of the mistakes that you'll make as you continue to improve yourself, your life, and your business. Then from there, we go into the next millionaire habit, which is to be 1% better every single day. And to this idea of tiny action daily, I will go ahead and even pull from the 4th agreement of the book, The 4 Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. And in this book, The 4th Agreement, he states that to always try your best, right? Try your best. Now, every day may be slightly different, right? Your best today may be 100%, your best tomorrow may be 120%, and your best the day after may only be 60%. But whatever it is, can you make sure that you improve at least 1% every single day, right? At least can it be a net positive? 1%, not 2, not 20, not 50, not 100% better, but can you become 1% better than you were yesterday? Because so long as you do that over the course of time, add it up. And it's not, just to give you a sneak peek, 365% better at the end of the year. It's much, much, much more than that. And what ends up happening is when you get just 1% better, it compounds from the day before, right? So if you are 100% and you got 1% better, now you're 101. But 1% of 101 is not 1, right? It's a little bit more than that. And then the same idea. Now we're 101 point whatever, right? And just a little bit better, and just a little bit better, and just a little bit better, until before you know it, you are astronomically better. Because what's interesting, especially when it comes to success, and especially with these millionaires, is that they didn't go out there and necessarily learn this skill that took them years and years and years and years to master. They simply maybe put their head down for 6 months to a year and got really good at something. Because the irony is that life does not require you to be insanely good at something in order to be very successful. It just requires for you to be far above the average, or at least above the average. And the fun fact is that the average person isn't spending more than 6 months developing a skill very seriously. And that's why certain different types of skills get paid at high levels. Now, the difference between a millionaire and a billionaire is going to become apparent within that skill development over the course of time. But we're just talking about millionaire habits, not billionaire habits. But a billionaire isn't going to be too far off. It's just more time and more compounding and a higher rate of improvement. And with this, 1% better every single day on the focus of a millionaire habit is how you become a millionaire. This habit of becoming 1% better every single day. And so then when we wrap this up into the 5th one, while wrapped up into the other 3, it starts to really form. Because when we have so much of this internal arranging set up, we come into the 5th millionaire habit of following up. Because, it's obviously nice and all that you are focusing on what you need to focus on, and that you're planting all the seeds that you need to plant, and that you are, making the mistakes and learning from them, and that you're becoming better every single day. But the reality is that we're talking about becoming a millionaire, and that needs sales. And sales require follow-up. Because you will make sales on the first call, whatever the sale may be for you, but you will make a lot more on the follow-up. Because the fortunes are in the follow-up. Not everyone is necessarily on the spot ready, but maybe you made really dang good points. And you might be right. They are very indecisive people that don't know what the heck they want, and they just love to waste time because that person just is that person, but they end up coming back. Or because of your marketing, right? That's the point of the sales, to keep following up. The email marketing, the salesperson reaching out, the sending the text messages, the posting on the social media, whatever the case scenario, to get in front of that prospect, but to consistently follow up. Because on top of trying to make the first sale, you should still follow up with all of your clients, because then there's the second sale. And often the second sale is much easier than the first. I mean, think about it. You ever gone to the grocery store before, or to any sort of place that sells most anything, and right before you're checking out, they got a bunch of stuff right there next to the cashier, right? Just a bunch of little $1, $2, $5 little thingies, candies or trinkets or whatever, right? That's on purpose because they've already sold you on everything else that's in your cart or that you're buying. Now there's the second sale, the follow-up sale, and that's where even more money is made because the second sale is always easier than the first sale. So the fifth habit of millionaires, the fifth millionaire habit is to always follow up. Follow up with your employees, follow up with your clients, follow up with yourself, right? Things don't change the first time necessarily, but if you keep following up, things will continue to change. And that's always the main point. So these 5 habits, I promise you, you embody these, you are putting yourself right on the exact same path of all of the millionaires. Number 1, being that you say no. Say no to the other things. Start learning to get into the habit of saying no to more things and start saying yes to the things that you should be. Number 2, planting the seeds. You are a farmer in your life, and you must work as hard as you can to grow the best possible crops in your field on your land, which is your life, your home. That's you. Number 3, making sure that you are learning from all of the mistakes that you are making. You will make mistakes and you can learn from them and should learn from them. And especially if you want to be a millionaire, you must learn from them. Followed up by the 4th millionaire habit, which is to become 1% better every single day. It's not a high bar, guys. It's simply 1%. That's just reading a little bit more, right? Doing something that made you feel a little bit uncomfortable. Learning just a little bit, something that you didn't know before, 1%. That's it. As simple as that. And let that habit form. And then from there, let it carry you. And then, of course, when it comes to business and making these millions of dollars, your 5th millionaire habit, which is following up. Making sure that you are always there, front of mind, front of center, front of attention. Because the more attention that you get, the more network and net worth you will have. This is why millionaires are always following up and staying in touch and keeping lists of people. Do you have a list of people that you need to be following up with? And by the way, a follow-up does not mean that you need to always be pitching something. It can simply mean following up for the sake of keeping the connection because your network is your net worth. So follow up. That's where the fortunes are. And with that, make sure that you're following up with all of your friends, sending them this episode so that they know that you're thinking about them and that hopefully they get the same value that you are. Drop your takeaways into the comments below. Check out the description so you can engage with us on social media. We'll engage back with you. And from there, we will see you in the next class. Hope you have a great day.